I've seen these negative articles about 55 adult communities and on the internet, and a lot of them have quite a few likes. One's got 32,000 likes, and it's more than one video like that. And I just wanted to address that. I'm 76. I live in a active adult community for the last 8 years, the Del Webb community, and so I thought it was interesting to see the video and see what they were talking about because I couldn't imagine that being the case. Um, so I looked, and the video was a realtor, um, kind of a smirk on his face, saying that all the problems in active adult communities don't live there, what they don't tell you, things like that. And so here's what he had to say, and I'll see if I can address each one of these from my perspective. And I'm retired. I don't have anything to sell. He does. I don't. What's really going on? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, a trend of people who have been bought in a 55 community and that are not happy and want to move. Well, I live in a community, a Del Webb 55 active adult community, and we have like 1,200 homes in here. And I'll tell you, I haven't seen anybody unhappy, want to move. Maybe one or two people in 8 years, and they were not unhappy. Their situation may have changed, and for some reason they wanted to move. But no, there's not people moving out left and right like he's talking about. That is just not the case. Now, there's a lot of retirement communities. I'm talking about one of the big active adult communities, Del Webb. There are others, other builders that build these. And, but I can tell you right now, I know a lot of people here, and that is not the case. So he says there are 10 reasons, and he starts out with number 10, going down to number 1. He's got two number 1s. Number 10, smiling faces and friends. The glossy brochure, the marketing department, and everybody having a good time riding on bicycles and holding balloons and things like that. I've kind of thought the same thing too when I moved in. I said, I just wonder how long this is going to last. They're selling this to us as a good time, and everybody's really excited. Is this going to last? And for me, it has 8 years. And so I just don't see his point there. He says, you're going to stand in line for your cheerleader tryouts. It's like high school again. I'm not sure what he's talking about there. There's group activities, and there's new friends, and he didn't talk about any of the pluses, but acting like that will change, or people, I would say this, people put their best foot forward here. They do. So, people are people. He's kind of right, and people are not going to change too much. But if they're doing something that makes them happy with friends they like, they're more prone to be happy rather than grumpy. So I just don't see that one at all. Number 9, the next one down, I made notes here. It's kind of the same thing. You never see grumpy people in brochures. And he says 47% of the people that move in dislike it, and at least one of their neighbors. And so that's kind of humorous to me. There are going to be people that you like better than other people, that's for sure. But we kind of feel like we're in the same boat. We're worked hard. We bought in a nice community here. It's got all kind of facilities, and there's no reason not to be happy. But occasionally you're going to find somebody who's not happy with anything. That's probably true. But 47% dislike it? No way. That's not the case. I absolutely disagree with that completely. No, it's not the, dislike. He says they dislike one of their neighbors. Give me a break, I don't think anybody's ever guaranteed anybody's going to like everybody. That's not the case. And if you dislike them, fine. Just don't have anything to do with them. No problem. Nothing is required here. Nothing's forced here. You do it if you want to do it. If you don't do it, don't do it. Try something different. I mean, there's 100 clubs and activities here. You try something, you like it, keep going. And if you don't like it, that's great. You gave it a try. So try something different. Number 8, if you're going to be living in a community with people who have too much time, oh boy, this is a good one. If they have too much time on their hands, watch out. Too much time on their hands. Well, when you retire, you do have to refocus your time, no matter where you live. If you stayed in the house in the suburbs, you're going to have the same amount. Everybody has the same amount of time. Famous quote, right? It's one thing everybody has is the same amount of his time. So he's equating with having too much time to stay away from a community. No, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, we all have the same amount of time, and he's acting like idle hands create evil or something. Well, that goes against the nature of the active adult community. Being active, you don't have too much time. In fact, most retirees say, I couldn't imagine working because I've got so much to do. My schedule is packed. Marianne, my wife, says, I'm going with the girls for lunch on Tuesday. I got a doctor's appointment on Wednesday. I'm going to play bocce on Thursday or Friday. And we're going to go over and play hand and foot with Pete and Brenda on Saturday. And on and on. So this is absolutely ridiculous. Too much time on your hands, like where you live is going to change that. If anything, that's the whole purpose of a community like this is you got activities to fill your time up. Activities, by the way, that you like and enjoy, and you do with people you like. So totally crazy point number 8. Number 7, monthly homeowners association payments. He talked about them going up and blah, 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 and not using all the amenities that you're paying for. Okay, let me address that. Our community is about 15 years old now, and it started at $200, now it's $299. So $299 a month. Now that includes landscaping. In my old house in the suburbs, I was paying almost that much for landscaping. So I don't pay anything for landscaping. Trash pickup, same thing. I don't pay for trash pickup. I have the dumpsters, and it's included in the homeowner association. So those two alone makes it a bargain right there. So they've been very, very reasonable with their increases here. So, with everything we have here, including landscaping, trash pickup, and tennis courts, pickleball courts, bocce courts, softball field, walking trails, dog park, children's playground. Are you kidding me? That's so what? Number 6, homeowner association fee increases. I've already talked about that. Ours is $299 a month, and if it goes up, it's like $9 a month sometimes. But 15 years later, it's went from $200 to $299 per month. That's not too much. Rules and regulations. Number 5, rules and regulations. Well, there are some rules and regulations, and they're for everybody's benefit. I was a real estate broker myself for 40 years, and I know, if you have no rules, people can paint their house, orange or blue, and it's usually the first one in the subdivision. They cannot cut their grass or things like that. That doesn't happen here. You don't have to worry about the terrible house, down the street or next door. It's not going to happen. And so some people have grumbled about that once in a while. I mean, that's different, but then they consider, yeah, that's for everybody's benefit. Number 4, 55 plus is not a dating app. It's not a dating app. What world is this guy in? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I would agree with that. It's not a dating app. I do know this, that some people here have got married, and some people just go do fun things together, and they have their own homes. So if you're single, absolutely, there's people to do things with. It could be male or female. I mean, there's the women's singles group does all kind of wonderful trips and all kind of wonderful events and parties and everything else. So that's a plus too. Another plus is if your spouse, I've been married 51 years, I've been very fortunate, and your spouse, somebody's going to die first. So that's the facts of life. So if your spouse dies and you live here, you've got a built-in support group. And he doesn't talk about that at all. So you got a support group here, and you got people to do things with. You can make your schedule as normal as possible, and that's a plus. So it's not a dating site. So that's a very strange point. Okay, we're getting down to number 3. He says retirement community. Let's see, what does he say? Oh, about crime. We're not in a bubble. We got the same people here. They're just as deviant in our neighborhood as they are in all neighborhoods. People are people. And drugs. You must see the news about these retirement communities with drugs and criminals and deviant behavior. It's not a bubble around your community. You got the same issues as any other place. I would say that's not true. No, we have a gated community, and we don't have any solicitation coming in. I've been here 8 years. My old place, I used to get knocks on doors from Jehovah's Witnesses or the politicians or the salesman. Even though I had to put a sign on the door, not to do that. You don't get that here. I never had it, one bit. So, as far as crime, no, I haven't seen any crime. Our electrical cord got either misplaced or somebody took it home by mistake or something from our bocce cord. I've heard nothing like that. At the old place, I had a nice house, big 3-story house full in a nice subdivision. And we down the street, there was a van of people knocked on the door. Nobody was home. They went around to the basement door, kicked the door in. Things can happen like that in the suburbs. But here, I've never had anything like that. We know, if there's an unusual car or something like that, you probably could spot that. So they don't get in here and ride around. We have 24-hour security, guarded gate. And if somebody was intent to break in, they could, but I think they'd pick a little bit easier target than us. So, that's not true, saying that it's no more security here than any other place. That's absolutely false. Number 2, nobody ever sees the developer after they buy and move in. Well, our community is fully run by the Homeowners Association of Residents, and we have very capable people. We have some very skilled people here in the community. We do have a hired property management staff, and they're right down at the clubhouse, open 7 days a week. You just walk in. They maintain the office Monday through Friday, like 8 to 5, and very responsible and responsive. And developer, it sounds like he's a realtor, so maybe he's talking about fighting the developer or something like that, but I'm not sure what he's talking about. Ongoing community is run by the residents here. Developers are not here forever. They sell out. They do. They leave. Bye. They're gone. And the community takes over the Homeowners Association, and they can write whatever rules they want to, and they can, run their own self. So you don't need a developer to go to. Excuse me. So I don't know that one. Politics. He's got two number ones. Politics. He says. You see the golf. He showed signs of the golf carts with the political signs going up and down the streets, and he says politics is out of control and alcohol runs free, and that makes it worse. 5 o'clock someplace is the atmosphere all the time. Very irresponsible statement. Our communities, what I can speak to, and we have no political signs in the neighborhood. It's not allowed. That's one of the rules, and it's fine with me. Everybody feels strongly these days, and there's people on each side of every issue, it seems like, but there's no signs in the front yard, the windows, and that's not allowed. Alcohol, give me a break. There's not political. I've been very, very pleased with the groups that I belong to going up to this year, political elections. They very few times ever mention anything, and they know people have different attitudes and very different outlooks about things. And so if somebody does mention something, somebody says, let's don't talk about that. The politics and religion is not a good thing we're having too much fun to spoil that. So, but I was very pleased this year. There's very few of that going on. Okay, the last one, not the number 1B, he says. He said, boy, he jumps all over the place. Non-stop party fun. Okay, whoopee-doo. Non-stop party. The main theme in some of these communities is non-stop party theme. And, I know the villages have been criticized for that because they have that very active downtown and, that New York Times article from 20 years ago, people are still talking about. Well, we're not in the villages, but we have a big community here and 1,200 homes. So, we got pretty close to 2,000 people. And yeah, we like to have parties at each other's homes. You can invite somebody over to your house and have a good time. We have concerts at the clubhouse, some very good tribute bands and other entertainment. We got a grand ballroom. And yeah, you can bring your own alcohol there. If you're like me, younger, yeah, absolutely. You can really drink, right? But when you get to be in your 60s and 70s and start taking medications, and one day you wake up and you say, a glass of wine is fine, but more than two is not worth it. So no, I don't see that at all. We like to have a good time at the clubhouse. We do bring some alcohol to the clubhouse. That is fine. But as far as that making politics worse, I don't understand that one bit. Anyway, I looked at this guy's profile. He's a sales broker in Myrtle Beach. And so, people believe him. He's got 28,000 likes on his video. But I'll just tell you, somebody that's not has any vested interest is just not the way I experience things whatsoever in this large Dale Webb community. So anyway, I just wanted to give another version of that. And I'm glad I checked out his video. He's a very good speaker, but unfortunately what he says is not true. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching.